All right, we're started.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna do I'm going over with a buddy of mine some shooting, and I went over a couple things that I thought was kind of would be helpful for you people to show when I'm showing somebody that does things that he's kind of been taught or learned. So now I'm going to here with him after we get our ears on, because we're going to shoot here in a minute. So he's never shot a 45. I don't know, have you shot a 45?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, he has shot a 45. He's never shot this 45. This is my Frankfield, and it was jamming before last time with this cheap ammo. So when I had him do it, I had him load, and if you remember from my other videos, when you rack around, you do it this way, or you can do it this way with a push-pull. You can either hold it with the receiver and push, but if you do it both, or I can hold this hand still and then pull this, or I can do both. I can push and push with both hands, and it gives me an action like so. So what he did is he rode the barrel forward, and I told him you don't want to ride it because of that. So I'm going to have him go over a couple of racking. I want you to rack it close to you. Good. He still rode it a little bit. I don't know if you saw that. He held his hand on the, your hand should almost come away from the gun, and the barrel should fly that way. If your hand comes back with the gun, you're riding it. Good. Hand went backwards. Good. Hand went backwards. Good. Hand went backwards. See what he was doing before, and I don't know if you can see it, when he was over here, he went, and the hand was coming this way instead of the hand going this way. That way I let the full function of the gun work. Let's go ahead and load around there. Good. All right. This is the bad ammo, so it may jam, and I want him to experience that. I need to get rid of this ammo. Gun works fine with other ammo. Okay, so you just put around the chamber, click that on safety, click that little thing up. Just push it up. There you go, it's on safe.
Okay.
All right, so we're just gonna have him shoot at an amp pile. I'm gonna go over stance, kind of see what he does, see how he shoots, and I'll correct things that I see. I'm not saying he's doing it wrong. He's shooting. I'm just gonna give him some tips that I think might improve it. Go ahead and put a couple rounds in that amp pile. Push that down.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Finger off the trigger. Okay. Good. Whoa! So what happened here? This is great. I love it. First of all, did you notice how the gun went like that? That tells me he's anticipating recoil. Sometimes I will actually load an empty round to make people do that doesn't shoot, to see, because they miss the target and they go, the gun's wrong, the sights are off. And I'm saying, it's you. It's trigger pull. Trigger pull is the main reason for most misses. He would have missed because the gun went click, because he was anticipating the bang, and when it didn't happen, he flinched. That's why when you squeeze a trigger, it needs to be slow, steady pressure to the rear. The hammer goes click, the gun goes bang. No big deal, I know what to expect. I change nothing. When I pull around, it's the same way. Squeeze, click, bang. Squeeze, click, bang. Same way every time, doesn't matter. Now, why did the gun go click? Couple things. One, he didn't see the magazine, and I didn't check it. And I already know that's what it is. See the magazine? When he put the magazine in, he slid it to where it's not seated correctly. And that caused a round when he did this not to load, because the magazine wasn't fully up in there to load a round. No round. So if you stick a magazine in and you don't seat it, you can recock this all day and go, it's not loading, because the magazine's not seated. We talked about a tap and rack. When you go click, instinctively on a reload, you need to tap. That makes sure that's seated. Now I'm on a rack. Now I know what round's in there. Take this out, hold that. Pull this round out of here. And there's my round, because I seated the magazine. Reload that. So that was a great example of what happens. Now, when it went click, you notice we all kind of went, what the? That was that lag time we talked about. I talk about lag time, decision process. When things don't go as planned, if you don't know what you're going to do if that happens, you stall and you go, you look at the gun, you go, what happened? So that was a great spontaneous training tool. If you don't see that magazine, and that's what I call babying a gun. When people ride to slide forward, They want to baby it, not hurt it. This gun is when it shoots a gun, it's a violent action. Don't worry about babying it. People want to put the magazine in softly and just slowly push it in there and do it like, it's not made to be loaded. It's made to be put this round in there and jam that in there and slam it. That may you ensure it's seated properly. It's not going to fall out, and when you do it, you're going to get around the chamber. So, let's see if the gun's safe. Good? Okay. Now let's load it the right way.
Does safety have to be off?
No, doesn't matter if safety's on or off. You just load the mag. Good. There. Good. Now we got around there. The only problem he did there, I don't know if you saw it, his finger was in the trigger when he did that. He took it out, but I think when he jacked it, he had his finger in the trigger. Finger's always off the trigger, along that slide. Now he asked me about a grip. Grip the gun like you normally grip it. He does the thumb up here. Remember we talked about thumbs forward, thumbs up, or thumbs crossed. I like the wrap over, but he shoots with this thumb up here. I don't have a problem with that, whatever works. Sometimes when your thumb's up there, the slide will rub on it. It may cause you.
Show mine, I got a grip on that.
Oh yeah. Well, you got a little rough spot.
Yeah.
See, on his, there's a rough spot, and on some of the Tauruses, and some of the other, they've put in a little indentation to where your thumb can fit right in there. And if you learn that way, that's okay. But when the thumb's up here, I call this a thumbs forward, thumbs up, and thumbs crossed. I like cross because technically, when you grab a gun, you grab it with one hand and grip it completely. Because if you had to shoot with one hand, you're not going to shoot with that thumb up, are you?
No.
So shoot like you're going to shoot one hand. So you grip a gun like you grip it with one hand. That puts that thumb there. Then when you take the second hand and you wrap around, then you wrap over or you can go forward. But your grip needs to be one-handed or two-handed. You grip with one hand first, the second hand wraps, the palms wrap around the rear. He's putting pressure on both palms in there, and that's smothering and holding the gun nice and tight. And that's now see, this thumb is here, that's fine. He could have it wrapped over if he wanted to. It would move this back a little bit like so. And that would be called a wrap over. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna let him shoot the way he wants to shoot. I'm gonna mess him up. He can shoot the way he wants. I just want to explain the different types of grips. Okay, so let's put around, make sure the safety's off. And we'll put around. All right, put the safety back on. Put your finger off trigger. He's putting his finger on the trigger too fast, and that's a bad habit. And he's gonna have an accidental discharge. If he puts his finger on there again, I'm gonna slap him, see if I can make the gun go off, scare the shit out of him, and he'll be like, what hell? I'll go, your finger's on the trigger. Because if you notice, when he took that gun off safe, his finger went to trigger instinctively. Instead of waiting till I'm on target to put that finger on there. Finger doesn't come off that slide until you're on target, ready to shoot. Any other manipulation of the gun, that finger needs to stay off that trigger. Take the gun, take This is good. People need to learn this, bud. All right, off safety. Good. Now go ahead and take your finger off and shoot. What are you looking at? Put your finger, there you go. Put it back on safe. Did you see him look at his gun? He didn't realize this is a new gun. He's used to his gun. So when he kind of come off the trigger, he hit the trigger guard. And he looked to see why I'm on the trigger. That's not knowing the weapon. That's why I tell you, draw your gun 5,000 times. Shoot the same gun. You don't want to be looking at a gun, figuring it out in a fight. Now, obviously, I just gave it to him. He's not going to know it. But that's what happens to people who I've seen carry a gun for a year. And they're still looking at it because they haven't used it enough. He looked at it. It's the first time he ever held it. But you don't want to look at a gun. You want to look at the threat and figure out your gun and how to manipulate that gun with your fingers without looking at it. That's just mental training, things that are going to come. This time he won't have to look at it. He's figured it out. He's done it. But we'll try it again, see if I can stop him again. All right, he's on target. Come off safety. And go ahead. Holy smokes. Okay, look where his finger's at. Why is your finger on it? I told you I was going to hit his finger. That's how easy it is if somebody fire a gun when you don't put your damn finger off the trigger. So keep that finger off the trigger. If you're not on target, that finger's out. And that's because he's been a habit. He hasn't had somebody on him, teaching him, hey, that finger's on the trigger. If you don't have somebody critiquing you, you're not going to get better. You're not going to understand that. So I appreciate him coming out here and let me crack on him. And hopefully you will too, because these are all valid lessons that everybody makes when they're new, when they're inexperienced, when they haven't had formal training that, hey, you're kind of picked up some bad habits. And I probably won't be able to break this right here. But let's go ahead and try it again. If he had put the gun on safe, I couldn't have been able to hit his finger and fire the gun. Ah, is it on safe?
Nah.
Why did you flinch? Did you see that flinch? I saw that shit. He tried to cover it up. Okay, one round, his finger came out this time. Damn, that's amazing. That's a miracle.
Safety's on too.
It was on?
I'll put it on now.
See, he learned two things. He learned to take his finger off and to put it on safety. He's never shot a 1911. 1911s, when you draw, you take the safety off. When you holster, the safety goes back on. Because it's a single action gun, put your thumb down. The hammer's always back. Because the hammer's always back, you want that safety on so you don't get a discharge. You carry a gun just like this in a holster. So you have to learn that safety comes on and off. It has to be instinctive. He's never done it, but he learned pretty damn quick when I fired around because he's standing here with his finger in the trigger. All right, go ahead and just dump those rounds in that pile, as many as you want. I want you to give me 2 rounds as quick as you can. As quick as you can pull off 2 rounds, really fast. Okay, so that was really slow. Because if you notice, if you look at this, when he pulled, his finger went forward. So he pulled and he put his finger all the way back. We talked about trigger reset. You heard his 2, watch my 2. See what happens when you anticipate and you take a gun for something? Because I was ready. When you're shooting multiple rounds, I tend to get on target and I tense up. It's called white knuckling. So when you saw this, I was ready to fire 2 rounds very quickly. Caused me to flinch. Flinching isn't necessarily bad at close, but it should be a habit that you shouldn't do. When you're target shooting and you're in line, you shouldn't be doing it. So I'm off safety. I'm going to fire 2 rounds as quick as I can. Come on target.
Hey, you missed.
I didn't miss.
You missed. High right.
Okay. There goes my horses. They decided to come up front. They're like, dude, what's going on? What happened, buddy? What happened? Say, Dad, why are you banging that gun? We're out here trying to sleep. All right, so we're going to change our shooting position now. I'm at 13 minutes, and we're going to angle a little off to the right, and now I'm going to have him shoot at a target. So we're not shooting toward my horses, and see if he can hit a target. So I'm going to have him shooting at this target right here, and I'll be yelling miss or hit, but I'm going to be filming him so we can see. Can you load that magazine? Did I throw that on the ground?
Yeah. There's no ammo.
We're at 13 minutes here. Huh?
There's no ammo for it.
Oh shit, I didn't bring any ammo. Oh, that's all right. I got another gun for you with ammo.
I don't have 45.
All right. Yeah, it's because we'll get your 9mm out then. We'll work on your 9mm. See if you can hit anything with that. All right. For y'all who's been on my horse channel, you know how I like to crack on people, so he can handle it. So my horses are heading out to the back pasture now because we're shooting. I've got another 45 that I'm gonna let him shoot. It's a little bit shorter than this, not much. If you look at the barrel's a little bit shorter, not much. This is an American Classic. This is Springfield. This was a little bit heavier, so I'm gonna have him shoot that one too. I'm trying to get him to get rid of his 9mm. He likes his 9mm. I'm a 45 guy. I like 45s.
I haven't even had it in a year yet.
So he's got a CZ9. I've never seen him shoot this gun, so we're going to see how he shoots it, loads it. He should be familiar with this. Good. Go ahead, see if you can hit that round. I'm going to critique his shooting. Let me move this hammer just a little bit so I can kind of see a finger grip in here. Alrighty. So I'm going to critique him right back here so I can see the camera. I'm kind of even with the barrel here, so he's going to shoot. Go ahead and see if you can hit that. Give me an excuse that the sights are off. He's shooting at a metal plate, and he missed.
It's the sights.
Sights? Okay. It's always the sights. It's never the gun. Never the gun. Okay, all right. Never the person. Okay, fingers on the trigger. Fingers are forward. Notice he's got the thumbs forward. Miss?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
So my trigger is way different than yours.
Exactly. And you know what? That's what happens when you get a double action. There's a thing that's called trigger reset. Go ahead and hold the gun like you're going to shoot, but don't hold your other hand. And I want you to take the slack out of the trigger. Move the trigger a little bit. Does it move at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, see how much that trigger moves? That's what happens when you get a double action to single action trigger. That's the disadvantage of having a double action. With a 1911, the trigger reset is much shorter and much smaller. You can get that second round off a lot quicker. Try to fire 2 rounds really quick just in the dirt, as quick as you can. Watch that finger pop off that trigger. See that finger come all the way forward? He almost shot faster than he did with the 45, I think.
Hit your target, by the way.
And you hit it, right? So, I'm not sure why you hit it. Are you shooting with both eyes open or one eye?
Both.
Both open?
All 4, yeah.
Okay. So he's looking over his gun. Go ahead and see if you can get another hit. Since you got one before, look at that finger. That finger, you're gonna notice it's gonna pop off. He can't hear me. Watch that finger pop forward. I told him to hold it back, but he don't listen. Oh, by God, did you hear me? Yeah. You piece of shit. He held it back that time. That was good because he squeezed it, and that's telling me he's thinking trigger pull. Slow, steady pressure to the rear. When you shoot fast, you pop. You usually white knuckle. Shoot 2 this time.
Like fast?
Fast. Fast you can. Now the finger's going to pop. And that's just normal when you're shooting fast, which is why you're not as accurate. If you slow this down or pause it, you're going to see that finger going forward. Now go ahead and empty all those rounds, whatever you got left, as fast as you can. Just get those rounds off. Watch the finger. That's it. Okay. You got another mag?
Not full, no. They're all empty.
They're all... Dude, you're killing me.
You emptied it out when I got here. Your video looked better.
All right. You know what? My 45 has rounds. Go ahead and grab the 45. Don't laser me.
Is that this one?
Yeah, is it loaded or unloaded?
Hey, it's not loaded.
Why you point a gun at me, man? The gun should be pointing down range. Look at the way you laid that gun. Point it right at me.
That's how you left it.
All right, who left the 9mm? Why is it 9mm?
Oh.
Damn youngsters. Is that loaded?
Now it is.
One in the chamber? On safe?
On safe.
All right. Magazine seated, on safe. Seated good? Now that's a little bit heavier gun, so that's not going to jerk as much. He's back to a 1911, lighter trigger, and because he's switching guns, he's got to mentally stay in the game. Go ahead and see if you can hit that target with that gun. Now hopefully he doesn't care that that's a bigger round, it's going to kick more. He still should be concentrating on nice, slow, steady trigger pull. Nice and easy. That finger should be held back and released. Okay, finger came off the trigger. He didn't go on safe because he's not used to it, but that's okay. Okay, you bounced your finger that time. That trigger should be holding back. This time when you shoot, hold that trigger back. You want to actually hear that trigger click. So shoot 2 rounds, but I want you to hear that click in between the trigger shoots. So you're going to squeeze it, hold it back, and then your second round you're going to let it go forward just till it clicks, and then you're going to start pulling back. Okay, Okay, you bounced it. You didn't hold it back. Squeeze one round, hold it back till I say release. This round, hold it back. Don't release it till I say. Release slow. See, you went fast.
Oh, yeah.
See, instinctively, you're throwing that finger. That's unnecessary movement. You want to be able to release that just enough till you hear the click. So this time, hold it back again till I... Did you hit it?
It's gone.
Put it on safe and just point it straight down the ground. I'll run down there and move the target. All right. Now this time, hold that trigger back till I say release. And when you release, I want you to come off just as slow as you're pulling. Don't bounce that trigger off. Come off nice and slow. So hold it back till I say release once you fire. And release. Hear that click? Did you feel that click? You're out of rounds. I know, it locked to the rear. All right, good. I was just concentrating on your finger and your trigger squeeze there so nobody saw your silly looks you were giving me. Hey, look, he loaded the gun the right way. He pointed it down range like a good boy. He is capable, I gotta tell his dad, he is capable of learning. His dad said he can't learn. All right, well, we'll end that there. Hopefully that helped. I was probably yelling, had my ears on, but a lot of things we covered that I've covered in my previous videos, you can kind of see when you're working with somebody that you haven't worked with before. That and this guy isn't necessarily doing things wrong. Could he survive? Is he competent with his gun? Sure he is. But is there things that he could do that would make him a better shot, more proficient? Can we train a little bit better muscle memory on the finger, the hand grip, the safety? If he carried a 1911 all the time, that safety on and off would become instinctual. You know, that's the problem with using multiple guns all the time. I've got so many different double action guns and everything, it's hard to get consistent. Usually when I carry my 357 38 on my ankle, it's a revolver. I don't have to think about anything. A revolver, you basically squeeze a trigger and it goes bang. Very simple. So revolvers, that's why I say if you don't use it a bunch, a revolver is good to keep by the bed, keep in the car, keep somewhere. If you don't have a lot of time and proficiency and you've got to grab a gun, you're just carrying it every once in a while in your purse or on your body, then maybe you want to go with a revolver, because then you don't have to think about a whole bunch. You basically grab the gun and shoot. When you get into semi-automatics, you start getting into safeties, different magazines, different positions of safety, different positions of grips. There's all these things. Here's what he was shooting at, in case y'all can see that. There it is. And he was actually hitting it, which is pretty good, because this is a lot further than any gunfight would be. This is probably at least 15 to 20 yards, and most gunfights are going to happen a lot closer than that. I think people train too far. I've said that before. You want to train for close-in fight scenarios, self-defense. Somebody's at your front door and you're up the stairwell 2 feet, or they're rushing you and they're going to be on you in a couple seconds, or you're within, somebody's trying to grab you and you pull your gun out and shoot. That's where most shooting is going to occur. That's why it's not that critical to have super accurate long-range guns. People are shooting at 25, 30 yards with pistols. Most of the times you're not going to take that shot in a survival situation, in a armed encounter situation. If you're going to a target and you want to learn to compete and practice that way, then you practice that way. But if you're training for survival and armed confrontations, you want to be training close up. I want to be able to hit targets that are pretty close. I want to shoot quick. I don't want to have to worry about a bunch of things. My main thing is to get rounds down range into the target to stop the aggressive attacking behavior. All right, we'll end that there. Hope that helps. Buddy, Miss T, you're good boys. They're back there with their little friends. Let me see if I can zoom in on them. Like damn dad's back there shooting that damn gun. See, they got the little friends over the fence, they're all meeting. Yeah, my dad's a jerk. He's out there shooting guns, hurting my ears. Sorry, boys. One horse, he heard me. All right, we'll end it there.